Time again for another pro football season, but the players have been hard at work for many weeks now. Hi, I'm Jack Weirs, and please forgive me if I get a little comfortable. We got a lot of traveling to do. Photographer Kurt Meyer and I are back on the road again, looking for some of Hawaii's best athletes as they tackle the tortures of NFL training camp. Their struggle is our story. They're our NFL Hawaiians, class of '86. A career in the National Football League has a price, and that price is years of dedication and sacrifice. The odds for success are slim, and these young men are a precious few of a handful that are beating those odds, just by being invited to training camp. They share a common dream and a common football heritage, playing high school or college ball in Hawaii. During the next 90 minutes, we'll travel to Long Island, New York, in the first day of Jets camp with Nu'u Fa'aola and Rich Miano. On to Providence, Rhode Island, and Mosi Tutupu, beginning his 9th year with the Patriots, the defending AFC champions. In Washington, D.C., rookie Walter Murray nervously waits through contract negotiations with the Redskins. While at camp in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, David Finotti, Kurt Covea, and Jim Asmus fight long odds for spots, and Raph Cherry returns for a 2nd year as a Redskin starter. In Charleston, Illinois, Nico Nunga stands on the brink of NFL stardom with the Cardinals, while Kent Kafensis learns about life as a rookie. His brothers Mark and Kurt Kafensis are looking for jobs with the Houston Oilers. They'll be at the Seattle Kingdome along with 2nd-year Oiler Michael Aqu for a scrimmage with the Seahawks. Meanwhile, the Seahawks feature veterans Connie Kawahi and David Hughes, teammates since their Kamehameha school days, along with free agent Jack Sims. North of the border, the Calgary Stampeders feature former NFLer Gary Allen and NFL hopefuls Anthony Woodson and Elvis Satelli, and former Rainbow coaches Rich Ellerson and Dwayne Aquina. All this coming up on the 1986 edition of the NFL Hawaiians.
The NFL Hawaiians.
When we return, Hempstead, New York, and the opening of training camp.
I have a hard time pronouncing my name. I say, collect call, please. What's your name? Nu. Hello? Hi. Guess what? Guess what? No. Bye.
5,000 miles from home and starting a new life in New York. Former Farrington and Rainbow star Nu'u Fa'aola unpacks in his dorm room at Hofstra University on Long Island. There's the culture shock of New York and a touch of homesickness to deal with first.
These are my parents, and this is my sister. This is the only thing I wanted to bring. My family pictures.
He's here for a chance to become a running back with the New York Jets. Tomorrow, practice begins for the rookie draft pick. There's apprehension, of course, but also an underlying confidence that comes from training. Nu'u's ready for his chance.
But I strongly believe that people that work so hard, the man upstairs is just going to give you a chance. Somewhere along the line, you're going to come. You're going to raise up. You're going to stand up. Say, here's your chance. And that's what I did in my junior year, all the backs went down. In my senior year, all the backs went down. And there I was the only one left. And I said, gosh, this must be my chance. And I was ready for it, I was prepared, for the physically and the mentally part of the game. And I worked hard, and the opportunity was there, and I took advantage of it. That's it.
Roommate Mike Haight from Iowa hasn't signed yet, like many #1 draft picks. He would sign a short time later. Nu'u took very little time to place his name on a contract.
Signed my contract with that pin.
I bet you were tough in contract negotiations. Give me the contract. I want to play.
Yep, that's what I told him. I settled for it. Whatever they was gonna give me, whatever my agent can get for me, like incentives and stuff like that, I was satisfied with that. I just want to play. I'm not here looking for money. I'm here to try to accomplish my dream.
Then the money will come.
Then the money will come, right?
Born Sinatau Silinu'u Fa'aola in Samoa and raised by his brother and wife in Kalihi, football was a revelation for Nu'u, and he's never lost his passion for the game. Now it's for pay, and it's time to be prepared.
This is a pro back. Pro sit back. See, even the numbers sound the same. Count the 30, tackle, trap. Running plays are easy. The plays that you really got to study is the passing plays.
Picking up the blitzing.
During the coming weeks, this practice field's population is going to thin out a lot. 102 hopefuls will finally give way to a unit of 45 by the beginning of the season. Consider that 35 probably already have secure spots. That leaves 67 hopefuls to scratch and claw for the final 10 spots. Those are pretty long odds.
It's like that at every position. There's 6 or 7 new guys, and they're going to keep maybe one new guy and maybe get rid of one guy that was on the team last year. So there's a lot of competition at every position just for one spot, maybe 2 spots maximum.
Rich Miano knows. An injury to another player opened a spot at free safety for him at the beginning of his first season last year. He returns more confident and anxious to help his friend Nu'u.
You kind of feel it if you're doing well. You can kind of feel the way the coaches are talking to you and thinking about you. It's a mental strain.
You know that now, but you didn't know that then. You didn't know how to read them last year, did you?
No, I was kind of in the fog. I had no idea what they were thinking, and myself, you know, I don't know, I probably didn't handle the situation that good. I wish maybe like Nu'u graduated before me and was already here, could have showed me the ropes.
Nu'u will have other advantages. The 9th round pick makes friends quickly.
Nu'u just comes in the door and starts talking to people like, how are you doing? Oh, long time no see. Never seen it before.
You gotta make new friends sometimes.
That's another reason why I think he has such a good chance, is because he's so outgoing and his attitude is so positive, and you know, he's a football kind of, he loves to play, and you know, they love that college type of attitude where you're just real happy, you're glad to be here. Not that they don't like when you're just here and you feel comfortable with your job. They like new attitude.
One of the coaches is walking by. Are you gonna put on your game face?
Nu'u is hard to overlook, that's for sure. Head coaches normally don't know much about their rookies at this point.
He's fun to have around, I'll tell you that. He's got a great personality, and
He'll also have some fun with mainland food. But keeping his weight up to the desired 220 has been tough.
I'm telling you, man, that's what I miss the most is rice. They got no rice at all, period. All they have is just bread and potatoes. I mean, who would eat a chicken with bread?
He'll need that sense of humor in coming weeks as he learns about other facts of training camp life, such as the Turk, who notifies players to turn in their playbooks and go home.
They just disappeared, too.
Gone. I mean, the training table gets smaller, the lines to get taped get smaller, the locker room, there's less guys, just disappear. They're there one day, gone the next.
And not much is said about it, is there?
No, the only time you even hear anything is when somebody gets cut that's unexpected, say a veteran that's been around for a long time. Then you hear, you know, guys will be talking back and forth to one another. But when rookies or new guys get cut, unless you're personal friends with them, no hard feelings. I think that's why a lot of the veterans don't want to get attached, don't want to talk to you when you first come to the team, is because they don't know. They may like you, and then you're gone the next day.
You got an intense look on your face, Nu'u. What are you thinking?
Who, me?
Yeah, when he was talking about that, what are you thinking?
I don't want to be in their shoes. But only God knows that. So I'm just going to give it the best shot I can.
While Rich Miano merely survived last year, this time he's got bigger things on his mind.
Yeah, I have new priorities, but still that main #1 goal is to make the team because there's so much competition. But deep down inside, last year that was my goal. This year, it's to start.
Despite the struggles, Rich Miano out of Kaiser High and the University of Hawaii found life in the NFL, everything he'd hoped for.
This last year is probably the most exciting year of my life.
And now he's been working even harder as he nurtures his young NFL career along.
What you have to do is channel all your thoughts to football for the next 5 or 6 weeks, because that's when all the cuts are. That's going to determine if you make the team or not. And for the next 6 weeks, you only have one goal, and that is to do it the best you can.
It's something he's been doing since high school. Through sheer determination and work, he's made himself into a player.
People that know me from high school, even from the first few years of college, my close friends know that I was so bad that they never even thought I'd be a good college player, never mind make the pros. So I think that people that really know me know what kind of work it has taken, and people that don't know me, they don't know. But for anybody that's out there watching, this show, if you want to make it and you're not blessed with, all this physical talent, the only way to do it is hard work. But take me for example. You can do it if you really want to, because nobody ever thought I could besides myself.
Both Rich and Nu'u take part in the first day workouts for rookies, first-year players, and invited veterans. Both are ready and are going at top speed. Rich will be calling defensive plays from his safety position and is the center of the action. Nu'u will earn plenty of special attention. Summer camp is underway. The New England Patriots return to camp sporting the title of AFC champions, a first title in 25 years. And despite a lopsided loss to the Bears in the Super Bowl, it's still special, especially for 8-year veteran Mosi Tutupu, perhaps the greatest prep running back in Hawaii high school history.
It's a dream everybody always wanted, and it took me 8 years to get there. There's a player who just retired last year by the name of Julius Adams. Took him 15 years, and some leave the game not even getting that opportunity.
As for the 46-10 pounding in the Super Bowl,
we were flat and never played our game, and they played well, as they did all year, and it just took advantage of all of the mistakes that we were making in the second half. Because in the first half, we were playing up and up balls with them, and second half we tried to push too much and created a lot of turnovers, and they took advantage of it and blew us out.
Born in Samoa and raised in Kalihi, he left Punahou with prep rushing records that still stand. His Southern Cal days featured a national championship and a quote from Coach John Robinson that hitting Mosi Tutupu was like tackling a Coke machine. An 8th-round pick by the Patriots 9 years ago, he's proven a steal.
Just give me a team full of Mosis and I'll take on the NFL. He's a football player. He's not just a running back.
He's earning a solid living in the NFL, but never reaching superstardom, nonetheless becoming a symbol for a type of back, a tough goal line rusher and a rugged special teams player, a Mosi Tutupu type back.
It's not really the type of running back I wanted to be, projected as. I really wanted to be like your everyday tailback type, but it just didn't turn out that way, and I became a yardage runner here. And
he has great all-around football ability in every phase of the game, and he's one of the most valuable football players on the New England Patriot team.
He's a team leader, the special teams captain, and he's become a community leader in the Boston area, working for many causes and charities. particularly the Special Olympics, where he's honorary chairman. His popularity is amazing, especially for someone who doesn't start. There's even a thriving Mosi Tatupu fan club, Mosi's Mooses.
Two good friends of ours who started, a little 4 or 5 people group cheering for me, Go Mosi. Got together with my wife and my father-in-law, and they have expanded. I mean, we started selling hats and T-shirts because people wanted them, and in turn we made half of that as a donation to a charity, which have turned out very well.
While the Patriots are the AFC champions, they're a team whose drug problems earned as many headlines as their football following the Super Bowl. Head coach Raymond Berry coaxed the team into mandatory drug testing, but the program fell apart when names of Patriot players battling drug dependency wound up in the papers. The program crumbled under union pressure, but Mosi is convinced random testing is an important step and shouldn't be negotiated by the union.
With this, I don't think you can bargain with this. We have to clean it up. If the team don't clean it up, you're gonna have athletes falling left and right.
And he's convinced pro athletes will always face temptation.
We're like celebrities, and you have friends who have friends who have other friends, and they come along and get on the wagon and so forth, and before you know it, you're doing things that you don't naturally do because of so and so, and and some people get caught up in it. Others walk away from it.
Team and community leader and family man. These are the best of times for Mosi Tatupu, someone who reluctantly left Hawaii a dozen years ago, much to the dismay of local fans.
When I went to the quarterback club, I almost, really got, people really were upset when they said, hey, well, I need to get away from you. Well, why do you have to get away from me? You play right here at home, and they didn't really like that. But, I wanted, it was a decision that I made, and I wanted to get away from you. In fact, when I got to SC, I called home. I told Mom, hey, I'm coming home. I hate this place.
He stayed and he prospered on the mainland. But as his pro career winds down, he thinks increasingly about home.
I always do. I always think about going back home to Hawaii.
I don't have a job and just work harder than I did last year to get better.
Ladies and gentlemen, the scrimmage is about to start. I got the brains, you got the looks, banks make lots of money.
It's the end of the first week of training camp for Redskin rookies and invited veterans in central Pennsylvania. Time to scrimmage the Patriots in Mechanicsburg, just outside the Skins Carlisle training camp. For rookie David Finotti out of Bahia and Arizona State, this is showtime.
Think of myself as a gladiator, and I go out there because I'm big and physical, and just go out there and hit, blood and and sweat and everything. And
one thing about one-on-ones, there's no place to hide.
That's where you fight. That's where you show your aggression. And you come off the ball and you punch, and it's the pits in there, the line. Yeah, they do a lot of beating in there.
It may sound strange, but offensive line positions are among the most sophisticated jobs in pro football.
Each lineman, the tackle, is guard and center. They have, their own individual, assignment. There's a lot more calls in college, and it's a different transition. And, it's new to me, too. The system here and the type of offense to run here is new to me, so I have to start from scratch almost. And the technique is a lot different, too.
David is bucking sizable odds as a free agent, but challenges are nothing new for the 275-pound tackle. He challenged himself to leave Hawaii for Arizona State to study graphic design. He's a budding artist.
School first, and my parents always stressed school first, and so I said, all right, since I'm a pretty good artist, so I picked Arizona State, and I did well in school, and plus, I knew, I wanted to get away from home, and not that, I wanted to get away from my family, but, just to go out there, accept the challenge of being on your own, and, see how you can survive on your own. And
he's trying to survive his first NFL camp, and it's tough.
in order to play the game, you gotta be smart, and you gotta be quick, quick on your feet, and you gotta be explosive too. And we have a lot of guys, a lot of good players out here, great athletes, and coming off the ball, but like I said, it's a slim chance.
Also invited to camp, former Rainbow place kicker Jim Asmus. He's a veteran of these camps since leaving the UH in 1981. First the Eagles, then Buffalo and Miami, Arizona in the USFL for a year, then the Eagles again. And then just as he thinks football is over, he spends last year with the Denver Gold again in the USFL.
What keeps you coming back here?
To tell you the truth, I quit after that last Eagles one. And in fact, I told the UH coaches that I was going to retire and just finish school and send my way through a private computer school.
He went to Denver never expecting to stay, but he did.
Went over there a couple pairs of shorts, T-shirt, and thinking I was just going to be there for 3 days. I figured, if they activate me at the end, well, a couple bucks in my pocket. And it wasn't even a tryout. They just put me in a uniform and I was playing. So I was shocked.
Now it's time for another shot after invitations from Minnesota, Cincinnati, and Washington this year. By now, he knows the ropes.
You get caught up to thinking, oh, shoot, this guy made it. Yeah, I got to make it. And I learned that real quickly. So you just go out there and do your thing and put it through. Let them make the decision. I think
kickers are almost like half gun will travel.
Yeah.
Half foot will travel.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is definitely my last stop. Because like I said, I had quit football before, and it just seemed like God wanted me to play again, so I just said, okay, let's go for it.
Along with two other place kickers here in rookie camp, he'll have to contend eventually with veteran Mark Mosley. Another tough assignment. Also here this day, assistant Redskins trainer Keoki Kamau out of Farrington High School and San Jose State.
Funny thing is the players come and go. Guys like you are the constants.
Oh, I don't know about that. You have to strive always to maintain specifics in your job, and one of my goals is to be here with the Redskins as long as I can. And I got to be operating at the best all the time. It's like these players, you got to operate at maximum level.
Back for a sixth year, this day's business is taping ankles and tending to bruises. But last fall, he tended to quarterback Joe Theismann's career-ending injury, a grisly broken leg, suffered while playing on national TV.
When I got to him, Joe told me, he says, I think I broke my leg. I said, I looked down, I saw a little bit of blood down there. I said, yeah. And, it was kind of deformed at the time. He said, yeah. All you gotta do is hang in there. We'll get you going. Then he got into, well, we got to get this done, blah, blah, blah. Joe's always...
He was still barking signals.
Oh, he's a thinker all the way. But Joe, I've known him, I guess, 9 years now. And he's always been good to me, and I'm going to miss him.
But pro sports means constant evolution. And Keoki feels that isn't necessarily bad.
It's good for competition. It's good for coaches, too. They've got to make decisions. And it's good for us, because it kind of wakes you up and says, hey, wait a minute. If it's happening out there, it could happen someplace else.
Even trainers know competition. Some people thrive on competition. And Kurt Gouveia, who led Waianae to a couple of prep bowls and who started for a national champion BYU team, is one of those kinds of people. Despite a groin pull that kept him from practice this week, Kurt Gouveia was all over the field this Saturday from his outside linebacker position.
When Coach told me that, he wants to see me on film, I said, okay. And in the beginning, it was kind of hard to get going at first, but after a while, you know how the player plays and, kind of tendencies they do and stuff. I think it was fun.
You don't sound like a nervous rookie.
No, I'm not nervous at all. At first I was, you know, when I got in, like on Saturday when we had that meeting, I was kind of nervous, you know, didn't know what to expect. But now I know what to expect, you know, and I'm just going for it.
And he goes for it with gusto. He wasn't heavily recruited by the UH in his prep days and has never been considered overly fast. On paper, Kurt Govea's numbers don't work.
Stats shouldn't even come into effect on the field. When time to play football on the field, you play football on the field. You do whatever it is you have to do to get to that football. And if you have to run over some people, you do it, you know. That's the type I am. You know, they might think I'm slow, but, you know, I'm getting to that football. Every minute I'm working towards that football. Things happen when you do that.
And the Redskins are noticing their 8th-round choice.
So far, let me say this. He showed great instincts. He's the very first play of the scrimmage. Peck said to me, he says, that guy's, he's got real instinct at playing things. We're playing him outside. And he's probably a little more natural inside, but Peck really likes him. He thinks he's smart. And I think we're going to have, at linebacker, I think it's going to be competitive, real competitive this go-around. Because, you know, some other years we've not had that. I think this year it will be.
Want to know what Coach Gibbs says about you?
Oh, what did he say about me?
He likes you. He thinks you're smart.
Yeah, that's good. I kind of like to give that impression, make everybody think I'm smart, you know.
There's an unmistakable joy when he talks about the Redskins and his chance. There's many prices to be paid for this opportunity, but Kurt Govea obviously has deep pockets, and he's willing to pay.
You can't get any better than this, and I'm just enjoying every minute of it. You know, I might be far away from home, getting lonely, miss my wife and my little boy, but I tell you, it's a chance in a lifetime. You know, everybody wants to be in my place. I just, you know, I'm just thankful that I'm here.
While the rookies toil against the Patriots, second-round pick Walter Murray out of the UH is noticeably absent. He's in Washington. Walter Murray is a holdout.
You're on cloud nine once you get drafted, or before you get drafted, and you're just reading the papers of how everyone estimates what you'll be picked in and what team you'll be picked at. And so you never really think about being a holdout. I had never really thought I'd be out of camp. I thought that for sure I'd be in camp the first day. I thought I had like a price in my head, and I figured that their price wouldn't be so far below my price. I thought at least it would be, you know, at 1 or 2 days and we'd be through with it. But it was a difference in night and day. And it's not just me, it's everyone in the league. So, I mean, prices have come down this year.
With longtime girlfriend Michelle Andrada, Walter Murray nervously waits as his agent Frank Yip tries to hammer out a deal worth perhaps $1 million over 4 years. Figures of $800,000 and more are common for a high second-round pick like Walter. But back in Carlisle, Coach Joe Gibbs tells a crowd of media he's concerned.
We put a lot of concentrated work with him before we got here. And right now he just flat missed a ton. You know, he's missed a lot. And I think it's getting, you know, it's serious. Our first week with the receivers, I mean, that's what we're geared for. We even have our vets here for 4 of those days. He's missed all that, and I think it's a, you know, I think it's a serious problem.
So Walter Murray works out alone in Washington, D.C., and he learns how tough big money negotiations can become, and it's shaken his confidence.
They questioned, Walt, your commitment or your intensity. Somebody,
you know, I would like to say something, but I won't. But they, I guess, like anything in negotiation or business, they have to find some type of flaws in you. Otherwise, if you're perfect, you can't be coached. I mean, you know everything. So.
Did you think it would be as cruel a business? Would you say it was a cruel business, the whole negotiation thing?
I'd say that there's nothing in college that could ever prepare you for this.
Plus, there was talk that Walter had a poor minicamp performance in June.
I was going through a lot of transitions. It's flying all around the United States. So I didn't really get a chance to work out like I wanted to. So I'll just say it was okay. But from that day on, I've improved, I think, 100%. I've stayed here the whole summer. I've been working out every day.
Meanwhile, he's falling behind. And even if a contract is signed, most of the money isn't guaranteed unless he makes the team.
Is he tense? I mean,
sometimes, yeah.
How does he show it?
He's quiet or he's moody.
I guess a little.
You see him off, kind of slouched on the couch, just
gazing at the television.
What do you do then?
I just ask him what's wrong, and most of the time he says it's nothing, but I know what it is. Or sometimes I just won't bother him about it.
We sit around there and I blame her for little things that she does. And then I think about it and I apologize.
Walter says he will make the final decision and not his agent. But the holdout, just a week along at this stage, is already taking its toll.
Well, most everyone says, you know, this is business. And I'm trying to think, I'm like, business, I'm a person. Business, but I'm a person. I have feelings. No, but this is business. They don't really mean this. It's just business. And it goes back and forth and back and forth.
It's getting late.
Some advice for Walter from his old UH quarterback, Ralph Cherry, now in his second year with the Skins.
You learn the first week, and then next week they go past all that stuff, and you got to learn some more. So next week, whenever he comes, you got to learn the beginning stuff and then try to catch up to all the other stuff.
How tough is that going to be?
Well, it's going to be rough because he plays receiver, and the offense is so much more, difficult. And they have a lot of stuff on the offense out here. There's just so much stuff. You got to be able to play all receivers, and it's going to be rough for him.
Cherry reports to camp the following day along with the other veterans, and he's ready. The splendid UH quarterback became the all-rookie NFL safety in a matter of months, but he's not riding on his laurels.
Last year, I guess the coaches and everybody said I had a pretty good year, and I think I had an all right year for myself because I like to push myself hard, and I feel like I had some mistakes last year, and I just want to come in this year and do a lot better than I did then and just try to eliminate the mental mistakes and some things that I did last year. And if I do that, I feel it'll be a lot better year.
He reports with the veterans, but doesn't consider himself one.
Not really. I don't really think of it that way. I think of it as I have another learning process. And just last year was a rookie year, and I think this year I just have to come back in and still learning. That's what I'm saying. I'm still, I'm not really there yet.
If there's one thing Ralph Cherry wants from his NFL career, it's to keep it in proper perspective.
I want to feel that I came in, I gave it my all. When I finished, I left as the same person as I entered the game. I don't want to come in, as a humble type person and go out leaving as a swollen head.
And so far, it's paying off. Kent Kafensis is another rookie experiencing a crash course in economics and the day-to-day cold realities of a hot summer training camp. Cardinals owner Bill Bidwell, always known for stretching a dollar, is joining other owners at pushing NFL salaries down, and they're starting with the rookies. Downstate Illinois turns into a sauna this time of year, and the intensity of the new coaching staff doesn't help. There's a new atmosphere on this sleepy campus in central Illinois this year. New head coach Gene Stallings brings with him all the discipline of 14 years as a Dallas Cowboy assistant. And the rookies know from the outset, this is no sorority ball.
Well, the first couple practices when it was all rookies, we didn't get any water. We went about 3 practice days of 2 days without water, and at the minute the vets came in, he had talked to certain trainers and doctors and found out, well, we could get some water now. We need it. We had players dehydrate and had to go back to St. Louis to check into hospitals.
Now the veterans are in camp, and Kafensis, the 9th-round pick with the All-Western Athletic Conference credentials, is fighting 9 returning Cardinals for 7 or 8 defensive back slots.
I first went out there, I was nervous, and I was like, wow, this is the pros. I'm in a Cardinal uniform, and I got a little nervous. And then as each day went on, I became more confident in what I could do. And I just felt more sure of myself, and especially after the scrimmages, I feel I can play in this league. And, you know, it may be here, it may not be here, but I think I can play somewhere.
It depends on how well he can play the run. We ask a weak safety to be extremely aggressive coming up and playing the run. I think he was so in college, and I think he can be in the pros, but he's got to do it, and he'll have an opportunity.
But there's also good moments. This interception at the end of the day scrimmage certainly earns points. Also on the plus side, another former Rainbow is there for advice. And Falanico Nunga's advice is simple.
Comes out before we scrimmage and he tells me just knock the living daylights out of anybody. I don't care if it's O.J. Anderson or Stump Mitchell. You just hit them hard. And even if you mess up full speed and hit someone. So he all talks to me before the scrimmages and it gets me pumped up.
That's kind of Nico's philosophy, right?
Yeah, just, you know, go in there and hit something.
He's been in camp only a couple of weeks, but he's learning the ropes and gaining confidence. His brothers are working in the Oilers camp, and there's a definite support system working here.
Trying to get on. We hopefully will make it. My 2 brothers are at Houston, and me being here, and just all trying our best to make that 45-man roster.
But there's lots of 16-hour work days ahead before that can happen. So what keeps him going?
And I know that deep down inside I can play. I just hope that Coach Stallings thinks so too.
Out there, I called him in. I said, you know, there's only one way I can help you. I can't play for you. But go out there and hit somebody. Hit what's in front of you. Whatever moves, hit them. Don't care who it is.
The Cardinals are convinced he's a player on the verge of greatness. And now former Farrington and Rainbow star Falanico Nunga is ready for a center stage appearance in the NFL. The new Cardinals coaching staff has realigned their defense. And this year, Nico Nunga will join All-Pro E.J. Jr. at starting middle linebacker. It's the chance that everyone in life works for. And for Nico, that chance has arrived.
It's just there, but it's just how bad do you want it, you know? And you just got to be better than the other guy. You know, next player too is in front of you. And it's just one of those things. You just got to, you know, you just can't sit back and always sit every year. You know, this is my 3rd year, and it's fast. And you always got to prepare for it. One time, then your chance will be up. I think it's there now.
You know, he's tough, he's aggressive, he's strong, he has size, he can run. He's got everything that you want in a linebacker. He just needs a little bit more playing experience, but I think he's going to be an outstanding player.
It's not entirely football on Nico's mind this day, however. His wife, Pofa, is expecting their 2nd child any day.
So most everybody said, oh, how's the baby coming? I said, I don't know. What do you want, a boy or girl? Healthy one, that's all that matters.
Football and family, the focus of a remarkable but not necessarily smooth transition from a youngster growing up in American Samoa to a move to Kalihi at age 15, where he became a football prodigy, and now the NFL. it hasn't always been happy.
You know, I didn't really expect something like this war happens. But at the same time, I had the type of mind of, like I said earlier, what's going to happen to me when I grow up? You know, there's always the questions. I was back in Samoa when you grow up and you don't have nothing to do. You go back on top of the mountain and you grow up that taro patch and that old banana patch, you know, and breadfruits. It's not much to do. You know, it's just a thing. You work for the family. You know, out in the States, there's a lot to do with the race and nationality and things that you got to put up with. You know, like, I go back home, I get a little trouble back in Hawaii. It's a thing I was, you know, somebody that's accomplished something, people will get after you. But you guys probably know about what happened to me and my brother last year. You know, it's kind of sad for me, because I don't think, to me, I don't think there's not much people to respect me and my brothers for what we have done, you know, out there in Hawaii. And now I come far enough just to prove it.
The trouble is a conviction for misdemeanor assault and resisting arrest earlier this year. His wife was involved in a minor traffic accident in Waikiki, and when he came upon the scene with his 3 brothers, there was confusion about his wife's safety. An encounter with police ensued, and he was eventually sentenced to 300 hours of community service. Hawaii is increasingly becoming a difficult place for Falaniko Nunga to live, while St. Louis offers fewer pressures.
Well, I spent 6 months here and spent 6 months back home. And I find the people of St. Louis, they're very, very nice. Well, I can put it in a situation where, you know, I feel more respectful to people here than probably what I do back home. And I don't know why. I feel that people here are concerned more about me than back home.
Is that right?
That's the way I feel, you know, and I feel like St. Louis is like, is where I supposed to live in the first place before I even grown up, you know, before I even started.
While there's no immediate plans to permanently move to the mainland, Hawaii isn't the comfortable home it once was.
For me, I just don't understand, you know, because when I go home, I feel like I have to sit in the house and don't even ride around at all, you know. Because the moment I'll be walking out, there'll be somebody always will try to look over something on my shoulder and try to do something just to get something out of me.
On the field, a different story. This day, the first-team offense challenges the first-team defense on a series of goal line stands for the first time this camp. And this is all-out football, just the way Nico likes it.
When they say full speed, everything is always, yeah, you know, his excitement is up. And for me, it's every time when I'm out there, I always want to go after somebody, you know, and that's the way I do it.
I would think Nico within a year or two, hopefully not anymore, would probably be playing in the Pro Bowl. And I don't mean to say that facetiously. I seriously think, and I think any player on this team would tell you that he's playing at that caliber right now in practice. And in fact, Coach Stallings thinks an awful lot of him. And matter of fact, the other night, Coach Stallings mentioned that there will be no linebacker in this league that will play as well as Falaniko Nunga.
Rookie back Vi Sikahema out of BYU is another rookie to find a friend in the big third-year linebacker.
You know, I heard a lot of stories, and I came to expect him to be one way, and I came here and found him to be very courteous and very kind, and he's treated me very well, and we've gotten along. I don't think there are 2 better friends on this team than Vi Sikahema and Falaniko Nunga, and to me, that's a relief. And that's a plus.
He, too, is an NFL Hawaiian in a roundabout way. He lived on the North Shore of Oahu for 2 years, married a girl from Kahuku, and he wants to pass along some advice to our younger players. Even someone 5'8" and 170 pounds can play pro football.
They say if you have a dream to be able to play in the NFL someday, shoot, you don't have to be 6'1" and 230 pounds. You can be 5'8" and 180 pounds. Go out and get that dream.
But it's easier if you weigh 235 pounds like Nico Nunga and can run a 4.6 40-yard dash. But it is not size that makes Nico special. Take it from an all-pro.
he's a competitor, and I think that's what you have to be. Coach Stallings put it best. Out of all the 5 things that you would want in a linebacker, what would be the first thing? And to me, I would have to agree with Coach Stallings that Nico Noga is a competitor.
It's near the end of another sultry day, where the temperature will be 92 degrees at 9 p.m.
You like the weather here?
Just charming.
Later that same week, Nico becomes the father of a second son, Nicolau Vitali Nonga. But it will be a couple of months before he sees his new baby.
First, if I can, you know, catch a couple of balls and maybe make a touchdown, that would be really good for me.
Scrimmage day at the Kingdome in Seattle. The Houston Oilers hopped on a plane this morning from their training camp in San Angelo, Texas, just for this afternoon get-together. They'll fly back home tonight. And for former UHers Mike Acue, Mark and Kurt Kafensis, this is their first taste of competition this summer.
And today we're going to play against David Hughes and Jack Sims and Connie Kauai.
This is a
Hawaiian reunion right here.
While this qualifies as a home scrimmage for Seahawks Connie Kauai, David Hughes, and Jack Sims, the brothers Kafensis, former stars at the UH, are from nearby Richland, Washington, which makes Kurt wonder.
I've been trying to peek in the stands to see if they showed up yet. We've left some tickets on standby, and they haven't showed up yet. They better show.
Both Kurt and older brother Mark are free agents, and they share the same agent, which is how they wound up here. While they keep in touch with brother Kent in Cardinals camp, this day, it's their chance to make some points with the Oiler coaching staff.
What's the most important part of a day like today, going out there? What do you want to show?
Well, you want to show them that you're physically tough enough to play the game, that you're willing to go in there and butt heads, and that mentally you're prepared and you can play air-free. So if you can accomplish that, then it'll be a good scrimmage.
Is this your first scrimmage?
Yeah, it is. Because when I broke my hand last year in camp, I sat home back at the camp for all the scrimmage games and preseason games, and it was pretty boring. But this is my first one.
So you got to be a little pumped.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it.
Opening, punting, and kicking against a live rush.
The Kingdome gathering of about 10,000 will be disappointed not to see much of stars like Steve Largent and Kurt Warner. For Michael Acue, though, it's an important shot for a second season with the Oilers. Pretty good for the former UHer and Kalaheo High star, who never figured he'd receive a pro shot.
I was really surprised because I didn't play my senior year in college. I broke my collarbone, and I just thought my chances were shot. And then all the scouts came down for the Hula Bowl, and they liked my speed, and then they gave me a shot, and I made it.
So it's kind of gravy, right?
Yeah, it's great. You know, it pays off to have speed.
It makes him a valuable commodity, a big threat on offense as a receiver, and a special teams burner to get downfield.
In this day and age of 45 people, being able to play that special teams, boy, that's got to be, that's kind of the whole ball and wax, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. My coach says speed kills. If you got the speed, you can make it.
You're the fastest guy on the team?
Yes. Still am.
Ben Bennett, his pass incomplete to 82, Willie Drury.
The job numbers are trickier for Mark and Kurt. Essentially, both are fighting for jobs as safeties in the defensive secondary.
Well, you fight everybody. You know, everybody's asked us that question. They asked that in Houston. But, you know, when it comes down to a 45-man roster, we're going against, you know, the DBs, not only DBs, but other positions, you know, because it's whoever can help out on special teams. Hopefully, you know, things will work for the better, and whatever happens, either way, you know, none of us are upset, you know, because all you can ask for is a shot, and
it's out of your hands after that.
Both are coming off tough years, though, and are happy for the chance. Mark rebounded from the shock of being unexpectedly cut last year by the Colts after starting most of the previous season.
When you sat out last year, and a lot of veterans didn't get a phone call, did you think this was it?
I didn't know, you know. It was hard. It's probably the hardest year I've ever had to go through, but I saw the trend going all throughout the league. You know, a lot of third-year players were getting released, you know, just before they get their 4 games in and get vested. And it's a tough year, and you know, if I can get past that one, it'll definitely be a breather.
Kurt never got out of the blocks as a free agent with the Redskins when he broke a finger very early in camp. For Mark, this is his 3rd stop, originally signing with the Browns and moving on to the Colts. He's definitely happier to be in Houston than in Indianapolis.
When I was with the Colts, you know, to me, that anything was better. I mean, that's like starting at the bottom and going up. So as far as the organization is concerned, you know, I think there's, you know, anything seems like first class after that. And not to say that, you know, I didn't enjoy the years that I was in Indianapolis, but things are just done with a little more class around here.
And it's also nice to have a built-in support system and a brother to talk to.
Oh, yeah. He helps me out a lot because, you know, he's been through the system and, you know, the defensive plays and all that. And they're similar, so, you know, mentally he helps me out a lot. If I ever get down, you know, which I really haven't, but he's always, you know, he's there to, you know, lift me up, you know, and tell me, you know, we got to go out there and have a good day today, you know, let's go hit some people.
The afternoon seems to go well for all. Lots of playing time, especially for AQ, a man of average size. But in the world of pro football, 5'9", 180 pounds doesn't go very far. He sat out the end of last year with another shoulder injury, but he tries to block that out.
All I'm thinking about right now is making the team this year. And then if I keep doing that every year, then who knows? I don't know how long I'll last. You can never tell. I could get hurt today and be out for the rest of my life. That's pretty hard to say, but it can happen.
Afterwards, it's just enough time for some hello and goodbyes with the 3 Hawaiian Seahawks.
All right, hey, good luck, man. All the best to you.
And then it's time for Michael AQ to catch a plane back to Texas in training camp at San Angelo, the fastest Oiler on the run.
They like that, you know. I think I'll be here quite some time if I can keep it up.
That's a nice feeling.
Yeah, it is.
'cause the folks back home. Hello, Father. Mom, Dad, everybody, Grandma. We love you all. I love you. Nana, Papa. There it is. All right. Okay. We'll see y'all later. Okay. Hey!
Two-a-day practices are no picnic anywhere, but the popping of pads dominates the Seattle Seahawks camp in suburban Kirkland, Washington, where Chuck Knox preaches the work ethic. Former Radford Ram and Rainbow Jack Sims doesn't complain, however. Matter of fact, the second-year free agent has a night off this particular evening, and despite the long hours he has put in this past week, he won't leave the new Seahawk complex. Football's on his mind, and the offensive guard wants to stay sharp.
Right now, I can't even imagine trying, going out and having a good time or something, because then you have to come back and refocus everything, back on football. Because one night I went out with the friends, we just went into Seattle, and it's funny, just that time off away from football. It's good to have that time off, but I had to come back and I had to think about everything. It's like from square one again.
Earlier this week, there was the scrimmage with the Oilers, his first big test, and a good one it seems. But Jack Sims doesn't want to think that way. After being one of the final cuts last year in the Denver Bronco camp, he's taking one day at a time, and again, trying to keep his intensity on an even keel.
But I tried to go into the scrimmage with the same kind of attitude I go into practice with. You know, just relax and do everything right. Because just the fact that they're the Oilers shouldn't let it shouldn't let you get uptight.
Quiet, easygoing Jack Sims, someone who genuinely seems out of place in the brutal world of pro football. But don't kid yourself. He knows how to use all of his 6'3", 260-pound body when it's time to go.
It's not so much mean, but that's true. Once I put on the helmet, it's time to bang heads, and I realized that once I put on my helmet, from the moment I walk out of the locker room, I'll still be mellow up until this point. But once you get into a drill and it's time to do things right, then that's when you have to buckle down and say, okay, it's time to go.
Pokey! Hey, Wednesday, get shaved ice today.
There seems to be more certainty in David Hughes' life. The former Kamehameha running star now begins his 6th year with the Seahawks. But Seattle was a disappointing 8-8 last year, and Chuck Knox is attempting to put the winning fire back in his team.
But I think there's a new attitude out there. That we know it's 8-8, and nobody's job is secure. You got to go out there and work for it.
The teams have to be reminded every so often.
Yeah, you do. It's so easy to get lulled into that false security, when things are going well. And when things aren't going well, you realize you got to get the hunger in you again.
It doesn't take much to lose just that slight edge in this game.
That's right. That's right. There's only a small difference between the winners and the losers.
Along with a new intensity is a new offense designed to open up an attack that has often been criticized for handing off to Kurt Warner and little else. For a fullback like Hughes, that means he could be doing more than just blocking.
The new philosophy is we're going to spread the ball around and attack people.
Well, that's going to be good for you.
Yeah, I'm excited. I really am. I think the progress we've made in the last 2.5 weeks has been phenomenal. And I think if we can keep this up and build on top of what we have now, we're going to have a good chance. We're going to give ourselves a chance anyway.
The Seahawks' second-round pick in 1981 led Boise State to a Division I AA championship in his senior year. He's a success story, but it's come through hard work.
I don't have a whole lot of gifts. I'm not super talented, super athletic. But what I do have, I have a strong will to do well in what I'm doing. And I've got that from my father. He always worked hard at what he did. And I use everything I have, kind of an overachiever, I guess you'd say.
Connie Kauahi also fits the mold of overachiever. A teammate of Hughes at Kamehameha, who finished his college career at the UH, the big offensive center and special teams player comes to camp a different man this year. First, he's a 4-year veteran, which means he's vested into the retirement program and insured severance pay should he be released.
You get full retirement benefits. You also get a severance pay, which is really substantial. Now I think it's about $70,000. So it's really a neat deal.
But more importantly, he's made a strong commitment to his religion. It came after a trip back to Hawaii, and he says it makes a big difference in dealing with the pressures of NFL competition.
It most certainly is, and I never would have been able to do it on my own, because up until now, it's really been something that affected me. You know how Hawaiian people are. We're very strong-minded, wanting to do it on our own, not really wanting to search help, but taking the load all on ourselves. And up until like 4 or 5 months ago, I've been that way. And
now he's less preoccupied with Connie and is enjoying working with others.
If you get all caught up in it, you just are not secure enough to help. And that's the bottom line. If they're going to beat me out, they are going to have to be better than I am. And it's going to have to be by a margin, because I'm going to help them as best as I can. But in the same sense, I'm going to be battling like they won't believe either,
His job is a long snapper, reserve center, and special teams player. Like anybody, he'd like to start. And the word around camp suggests his play could earn him that chance this fall.
Connie Kauai is playing very, very well. He's improved. He's working on his techniques, and that was one of our goals here in training camp, was to improve our center play. because we're facing so many teams that are playing with a nose tackle and using some type of defense where they cover both guards in pass rush situations. So your centers have got to be able to handle that nose guy by themselves. And that's Howie Longs and those kind of people that they put in there.
Playing special teams, though, for Chuck Knox is no small honor. Just 3 years ago, the Seahawks made the AFC title game, in large part because of special teams play.
Our special teams here have been outstanding over the years, and it's come into it's a tradition now to have those kind of special teams, just stingers, you know, people that fly around and knock people around, and that's the sport, you know. You don't get too fancy, you just go out there and knock people down and take the ball away.
Despite just finishing an exhausting double workout this day, in uncharacteristic 90-degree Seattle heat, Connie Kauai is upbeat about football and about himself.
Right now, I am happier than I've ever been. I am stronger than I've ever been, and filled with so much love and strength that it's really hard to put the words into perspective, as good as it feels.
You know, that's fine, you know, but now you're nobody, you know. Hey, you're Gary Allen. This is the way you came into this earth, you know. This now you get to really, you know, put forth the effort to survive.
Behind him. He drops straight back. He's looking to his right. Now he's looking left. He soars right into the end zone. Alexander has the ball. Touchdown!
All yards. Hey, Rich, let me talk to Hop.
Calgary, Alberta, Canada, home of the 1988 Winter Olympics. It's a place where former Rainbow coaches Dwayne Aquina and Rich Ellerson direct the defense of the Calgary Stampeders, one of 9 Canadian Professional Football League teams. And star linebacker Anthony Woodson tries to carry out the instructions. Canadian football is the half-brother of American football. Both games originated on a May afternoon in 1874, when Canada's McGill University played Harvard in a hybrid game of English rugby. 2 sets of rules arose, and important differences remain, like a 110-yard field with 25-yard end zones and a wider field by almost 12 yards in Canada. Add another player who can handle the ball, and just 3 downs instead of 4, and it's goodbye 3 yards in a cloud of dust football, and hello to a wide-open game loaded with big plays.
I love it. I love it a lot.
Former Rainbow Anthony Woodson is a CFL star in just his 2nd year, and he's enjoying himself.
There's a lot of passing, and a lot of blitzing, a lot of quarterback sacks, a lot of interceptions, a lot of big plays. I'm kind of missed the running game a little bit, which this league doesn't have that much. A team might run on an average around 15 plays a game.
His speed is a key, and again this evening in an early season showdown with the defending Grey Cup champion British Columbia Lions, Anthony Woodson is all over the field, leading the defense. He'll play a lot in this game. CFL teams carry only 35 players, and the pace is very fast.
So you play on every special teams, and you're out there all the time on defense. And another thing, you only have 20 seconds in between each play, whereas in the States, I think it's either 30 or 25. I'm not sure. And it might not sound like a lot of time, but those 5 and 10 seconds add up.
The biggest Calgary crowd in a couple of years is on hand. The Stampeders are a retooled blend of new players and coaches and appear to be contenders, a team on the rise. CFL teams are allowed 13 non-Canadian players, or imports, and Anthony's happy just to be here, especially since the USFL has just folded a few days before. and now there's more players than ever looking for jobs. Still, the Americans are the key players for every CFL team at the skilled positions.
That's going to be the determining factor of what kind of football team you're going to have. You know, is how good your Americans are. So you want to have the best Americans they can have up here.
The game is a fan's delight, back and forth, with no letdown in action. Anthony Woodson isn't thinking about being a final cut by the Broncos a year ago. His mind is on this tense game. He can laugh now at last year's disappointment.
The year before that, they kept 10 linebackers. Then, like I told you before, last year they decided to keep 8, and I was a 9th linebacker, and brought down the axe on me.
But there's more disappointment tonight as BC kicks a field goal in the final minute. But then the real letdown comes when Calgary quarterback Rick Johnson is intercepted with the Stamps in winning field goal range, or at least tying range with a possible 1-point conversion, because any kick into the end zone and not returned is worth a point. Calgary loses 18-17.
So an otherwise special night has been spoiled in the final seconds. Yet there is a lot to be happy about for a city that nearly lost this franchise just a year ago.
Whether Canadian or American football, though, afterwards, the hurt is just the same.
This is the 3rd game in the regular season where we came real close, within 1 or 2 points, and we just lost in the last few seconds. And it's real demoralizing. It's real hard for us to deal with.
Already the league's Defensive Player of the Week twice this season, Anthony Woodson should get another crack at the NFL as soon as his 2-year contract expires. At worst, he's a star in Canada. The next day at a light workout, former Rainbow running back Gary Allen shows up. Disciplined for missing a flight, he didn't play the night before, but he won't talk about it. He's back in football after being cut by the Cowboys the beginning of last year. A tough year when the former Rainbow running great abruptly learned about the real world.
You start putting in applications, you know, and all you got on your application form is 4 years of college, 3 years of NFL experience, no other jobs, you know. It's hard.
Cut after his 3rd year, the CFL offers a chance to get back to the NFL. But Gary Allen is beginning to think more and more about the end of his football days.
I need 1 more year to get my 7th in the NFL, and I do plan on retiring from there. If they start talking good things up here, you know, I might end up trying to hang up here. It depends. It depends on how things go.
He's thinking more and more about life out of football. There's a local girl in his life back at the UH, and the small aches and pains remind him of too many years of pounding on his 26-year-old body.
Some areas I do, like for instance, when I hurt my toe in Hawaii, I still feel that. That still has a lot. It comes back on me. Try to walk upstairs now, you know, I don't fly up the stairs like I used to, you know. I got to grab the rail. My knees are getting sore. You know, it's just from playing a lot of years on turf too, you know.
But investments have been made, and the wide-open finesse game of the CFL gives indications in coming weeks that Gary Allen could be welcome in Canada, if he wants to be.
I'm not out here to be a rich man or anything, just to support my family and myself. I don't really need that much money.
Also at practice, former Castle High and UHer Alvis Satelli, testing his right knee for the first time running after being injured 5 weeks ago in just his 2nd CFL game. He had a standout first game, recovering 2 fumbles at his outside linebacker position. But he knows the competition for jobs here is fierce, and he's anxious to get back to action.
The guy that took my spot did pretty good. I was saying to myself, whenever I get that chance again, hurt or not hurt, I'm still be out there and just practicing and playing the games.
He's recovering from a knee ligament injury and also from a bitter experience at Redskins camp last year, when he was an early cut. Alvis and others at the Skins camp last year insist he played well. He returns to football this year with a new fierceness.
Was that the worst day of your life?
Yeah, it was. And I thought about it coming back home on that flight. I said, I can't take this upon anybody. I cannot burden anybody, you know, for me not making the team. I just say, hey, just kick that back, just start a new life all over again. You cannot just fall. I mean, I cannot just go, okay, I didn't make this team, so I'm going to be a bum. No, just go on the street, walk the streets. I said to myself, there's no ways that's going to happen to me. I'm determined to do something about myself. If my dad can raise 7 boys and doing a good job right now, I'm going to fight. I want to make a name out here. Let me tell you, I'm going to do something. I don't care what I got to do. I'm going to make everybody know my name out here in Canadian Football League.
He'll face the challenge with a partner.
What was the phone bill? The first half a month?
161.
Yeah.
All Leanne's.
And I was here.
And you were here? Who's making the phone calls back, Leanne?
Former Wahine volleyball star Leanne Pestana is now Leanne Satelli, wife and expectant mother. Today, a local-style cookout at the home of the Rich Ellersons. With Dwayne Akina's family also on hand, a taste of Hawaii on a comfortable August evening near the Canadian Rockies.
When can you expect snow here?
We'll have snow before September's over.
What's the strangest part of Canada? What was the weirdest thing that you...
No taxes.
No, they take it out of your check.
I know, they just money's tight there.
While Canadian League pay pales next to NFL salaries, it's nothing to scoff at either. You'll seldom find a player making the minimum $35,000 Canadian. The potential to make upwards of $100,000 is certainly there. There's possibilities and uncertainties too.
Could you see the day where you might live in a place like this year-round?
We're thinking about it. If everything, if everything goes well and he does good and he stays healthy and he gets his breaks, then we'll stay. If not, then it's another obstacle we're going to have to face when we come to it.
Oh, here comes Shay.
Dawn and Rich Ellerson do own a house in Calgary and are entering a third year of life in Canadian football. The Stampeders' defensive coordinator played ball under Larry Price and coached for Dick Tomey, and he brings a lot of football with him from Hawaii.
My coaching experience, under Dick Tomey probably dominates my philosophy or my approach to the game of football more than any one person or any one thing. In terms of relationships with players, relationships with attitudes about competition, attitudes about team environment.
And what about coaching such a different game with an extra player, a bigger field, and fewer downs? It's not really that different, he says.
We're playing BYU and it's 2nd and 10. And you close your eyes and imagine that, and you're really not too far off. You're 2nd and 10. It's 2nd and 10. You're playing BYU, and you have to play yard off the ball. You throw those three things together, and now you've got, that's a good perception of what the game's like in the front seven.
The responsibility of the 5 defensive backs goes to Dwayne Akina, a friend and coaching colleague at the UH, and someone recruited by Ellerson this spring to help build Calgary into a winner.
We've been good friends, and families are sort of in the same stages, and in our young careers, and an opportunity to go someplace and make a difference.
He also cooks a mean chicken.
Somehow I get given this job. If Daryl Adrolin was here, he'd be doing this right now.
Donna and Dwayne Akina, like the Ellersons, bring 2 young children with them on their adventure. Dwayne's adventure started at Punahou, where he was a highly recruited prep quarterback, and on to the University of Washington, where he played behind Warren Moon, and then on to coaching at the UH. Leaving Hawaii this time was extremely tough, but a needed professional move.
I hope it's in the stars, that I will end up back there. You're not sure if that will happen. You need work. You need to feed the family, but I left with that idea that eventually I'd be back there. And when you look back on it, it was the right decision. Sometimes you have to go out and take a chance, and I'm really happy I made the decision.
At Calgary, he'll be tested, and that's what he's looking for.
The bottom line is just get the same job done. It may not look as pretty. Without a doubt, it didn't. If you look at what Warren's making and where he is right now and what I'm doing, I'm cooking chicken up here in Calgary for the Ellersons. But, and so, we just bounce ideas off, Hey, okay, you've been doing this, For me, I think it's not quite getting the job done. Have you ever tried this,
And the dream remains strong, although the sting of last night's last-minute loss still hurts.
We can't be happy with that. Our expectations have to be higher because, with the talent we got, we're a good football team. There's no doubt in my mind. We can go out week in and week out and win. I don't care who we're playing. We played the class of the league the last 2 weeks, and if that's the class of the league, let's play them tomorrow night again.
always wanted to play in the NFL. At least I told her that. And so, if it happens, that'll be a real, real neat dream.
Stood there boldly, sweating in the sun. Felt like a million, felt like number one. The height of summer, I'd never felt that strong, like a rock.
There are other NFL Hawaiians in San Francisco, Chicago, Atlanta, Denver, Los Angeles, and Dallas. They share the dream, but inevitably that dream will end. For most, sooner than expected. They'll be victims as rosters are whittled down from 90 or 100 to an opening day 45. This year's collapse of the United States Football League also factors in, adding another infusion of players. Football for a living is a long shot at best, with the odds getting worse. But it won't keep them from trying.
My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light, and I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock.
I've always dreamed about it when I was a kid and really thought about it a lot my last 2 years in college, and I have an opportunity to do it, and if I make it, it would be a dream come true.
Nothing ever got to me like a rock. I was something to see like a rock.
And even if success is just for a year, there's a distinction that can't be taken away.
Accomplished one of my dreams, which was to play pro football. I actually played, and that was enjoyable. Got in, some tough situations, something I can always tell my kids, my friends.
High above it all, I still believed in my dreams.
I can look back and say, hey, I made it to the top, I made it to the best and played with the best people in the country. And that's a great feeling because you're one of the best. You're a professional and you can't go any higher than professional. And once you're professional, you're the best, and that's a great feeling to me.
The NFL Hawaiians has been brought to you by Griffin Enterprises, distributed by King World.
Pizza Hut has got something terrific, but they don't know what to call it. Here's a large pan